Hello everybody. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and record this video since I'm waiting for my son. He's playing at the park with some friends. So anyway, today's video is just going to be about living with nystagmus. What is nystagmus? Nystagmus is an involuntary movement of the eyes. And for me, I have had nystagmus since I was a baby. I think they call it congenital nystagmus when you were born with it or have had it since birth. So anyway, I think my parents found out or noticed that I had nystagmus, which they didn't know the name of it. I think they found out when I was about 3 or 6 months old. And anyway, they weren't really sure. This was, 30 years ago at this point. So they weren't really sure what it was called or, how my life was going to be affected by it or anything like that. So growing up with nystagmus, I didn't notice I had this nystagmus, this muscle movement. I didn't notice my eyes moved at all until I was in 3rd grade. And of course, a kid noticed it and they mentioned something to me. And I went home and I tried to look in the mirror. I tried to look in the mirror to see if I could see it. But either A, my eyes moved so fast that I couldn't see it, or it's just difficult to try to watch your eyes move. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't look at your eyes move and then move at the same. It's complicated. So when I was in 3rd grade, I didn't notice it. But I remember mentioning it to my parents, and that's kind of like when I'm not going to say became self-conscious, because I wasn't self-conscious about it in elementary school. I didn't become self-conscious about my nystagmus until I was in high school. Like, I went through elementary school, went through middle school, and I was never self-conscious about the eye movement. I didn't become self-conscious about the eye movement until I got in high school. And I don't know. It bothered me that I wasn't like other girls. Like, I was pretty. I always was confident in my beauty. Like, I always felt I was beautiful. But in high school, there was always the doubt of like, nah, nobody gonna like you because you got blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I knew that I could get a guy. Like, I knew that I was cute enough to get a guy. But that self-confidence when it came to being in class and focusing on my work without worrying about what the other kids were thinking about my eye movement was difficult. I'm gonna definitely say, like, 10th grade was when it started to kick in for me. And I don't know if it's because I was, more aware of boys, or I don't know if it was because I cared more about what they thought about me. I'm not really sure what triggered me into being self-conscious about my nystagmus. I'm not really sure. But I do know growing up, there were no resources out there about nystagmus. I thought I was the only person in the world who had it. And as a 30-year-old adult now, there are 2 people in life that I have met who have nystagmus. And it's really cool to meet them because you share certain things in life with these people. You know that there are some things that y'all do similarly because of the nystagmus. Like, when I was in school, I used to have to tilt my head to the side so that I could focus on words that were on the board. And I hated doing that in front of other kids because it was always like, girl, what are you doing? I would hit them with a side, not a person talking to them, but just like looking at things on the board. I would have to do this. But now as an adult, I understand that that's something called your null point. I had no idea what that was called. My parents weren't educated in this. I had to educate myself as I grew up. But that's called your null point. And a lot of people who have nystagmus have a null point where they feel that they can see best, or they operate best their vision is better when they tilt their head for that null point. And I'm not like that with everything, but I'm definitely, if it's something that's like very small in print, then I definitely use that null point if I have to try to focus in on something. I'm trying to think of, I'm able to, with my nystagmus, I'm able to drive. I thank God that I am one of the rare cases of people who have nystagmus who can drive. I honestly, growing up, my parents never made me feel like I couldn't do all the other things that other kids could do. My parents never made me feel that way. They never made me feel like I couldn't drive or I couldn't walk to school or I couldn't. There was never a point of my parents ever making me feel like I was different from other kids. They never made me feel that way. They never treated me like I was supposed to be treated any differently. Now, growing up in school, let me just say, I probably could have gotten more help if they did maybe speak up as far as my vision was concerned, but I don't think my parents really understood how my vision worked then. So it wasn't really something that they could have known unless I told them. And I really didn't even know. I just thought that was just the way I saw, and that's just it. So like I said, things that I can do with my nystagmus. Thank God I am able to drive. I have had a license since I was 15 or 16 years old. Had my license at 15 or 16 years old. Now I did fail that test. I failed the driving part, but I did not fail it because of my nystagmus. I failed it because I didn't stop correctly at a stop sign, didn't pull up. It was something that had nothing to do with my nystagmus. But I did fail the vision part, and they passed me, thank God. But what I didn't realize then was that I needed a note from my doctor to basically say, like, yeah, she's got nystagmus, but she's able to see. I can see better than most people who wear glasses. Like, I can see. Now, I can't read a sign that's far away, but I can definitely read it like once I get closer to it. But I do not need my glasses every day. I really only need my glasses for reading, if, even if that. So, sorry, I was a lot of car coming by. So anyway, yeah, driving is something that I can do. I can drive. My restriction is to wear my glasses, so I wear my glasses when I drive. I work a full time. I have worked since I was 14 years old. I have worked at a pizza place as a phone girl. I have worked at Bojangles. I've worked at Harris Teeter as a cashier, bagger in the pharmacy. I've worked in a daycare center. I've babysat for people. Matter of fact, I have my own kids now. I have 3 of my own children, and none of my kids have nystagmus. Not to say they can't develop it later in life, but they were not born with nystagmus, and they don't have any eye conditions. What else I can do anything that people who don't have nystagmus can do. I can do all those things. Was my life difficult with nystagmus? I won't say my life was difficult. The social piece was difficult the older I got, because I knew that there was something different about me. And I would love to be able to say that didn't break my confidence, but it did. And even as an adult now, like, I still have to find the confidence within myself as an adult to, okay, this is who I am. It's either somebody likes it or they don't like it. It's either you like it or you don't like it. And what I'm learning too is that my nystagmus does not define me. I'm a dope, cool individual with or without my nystagmus.